Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Whoa. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny, the show with a rap sheet that looks more like a CVS receipt. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda. Welcome.
We're coming in with real energy today.
I just wanted to be included in your intro so badly.
I didn't even plan on doing that. I think my brain glitched when I was trying to come out of it.
So, Trevin.
Yeah.
Other than your glitching brain, what is your dreadful dilemma this week?
My dreadful dilemma is in a piece of technology that I recently lost.
Oh, no.
And I didn't lose it, like misplaced it. I lost it. It's with the good Lord now.
Oh, no.
My smartwatch decided to just stop working for me. I was sitting and writing the story that I will be telling today.
Okay.
My wrist kept vibrating in a weird way. It would like open up the menu on its own. It was like possessed. And I was sitting on my deck just writing. It wasn't one of those things where maybe I was resting on my leg and my skin was activating it or something. It was just working on its own.
And it wasn't like super hot outside and setting anything off or, okay.
Oh, it was a beautiful day.
Wow. A glorious morning.
It was so nice. A little time went by and I was like, okay, I'm going to restart it.
Okay.
When it came on, it went black and white and had all these crazy lines in them.
Oh, no.
Have you ever seen the original video of when they did the bomb test with like Oppenheimer? The black and white with just can't really tell what it is, just black and white lines. And you're like, whoa, that's supposed to be an explosion.
Yes.
That's what my watch's screen showed the entire time, and it hasn't stopped.
I am so sorry for your loss. The death of a smartwatch.
I almost had a dilemma about this watch once before because I just got this thing for Christmas, this last Christmas.
No way.
Yeah, so it's still under warranty. I'm going to get it replaced for free.
Okay.
I was having a hard time when I first got it because I couldn't train myself to use the watch to look at the time.
Oh, okay.
For all these years, I had that Whoop strap that doesn't have a screen, and it was just like a heart monitor. So I would be the guy wearing a smartwatch, reaching in his pocket, pulling out his phone, looking at what time it is, and putting my phone back, and never using my watch. That was a dilemma for me at one time. Now I'm having the opposite dilemma of it's gone, and I keep wanting to look at my arm to see, like, did I have a message or something? And now I'm back to feeling like a normal person without my watch.
I can't even imagine. I mean, I don't even have a regular watch, but I know how people get when they're used to having it.
It's also an easier way to check your messages without looking like an asshole. It's like, oh, I'm just looking at the time real quick.
It's like you're just taking too long to speak to me, and I'm maybe a little bored, but I'm not an asshole.
I mean, it does come off. There are a lot of times where I do it, and people will be like, oh, I mean, you ought to get going. I'm like, oh, I just had a text message I was looking at. This isn't a prop to end a conversation.
Right. Well, that really is dreadful. I'm glad that it's still under warranty, at least. R.I.P. So you know how recently you had a dreadful dilemma about your stinky cat?
Yes, Miss Harv.
Well, I have a dreadful dilemma about my stinky ass husband.
Oh no, husband problems.
Okay, I haven't talked shit on him in a while. There's been a couple things where I'm like, Jordan, you're dangerously close to becoming a dreadful dilemma.
I've actually said that to Emily before.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow, how weird.
Oh, it's a thing. And part of this isn't his fault, but part of it is. You know what I mean? Okay, so anyway, let me tell you why he smells so bad. Jordan is a superintendent for an industrial painting place, and they do sandblasting and things like this. I've briefly touched on it on the show. But anyway, he usually isn't the one like going in and doing the grimy, dirty work that he used to do like years back.
Yeah, he promoted out of that.
Yes, he kind of just organizes the jobs for people and goes on and things like this. Well, the other day, he had a worker that called in sick and was kind of doing it a lot. And basically, the upper management was like, listen, we got to not give him any work for like a couple days, and someone else needs to jump in and do this while this idiot calls in, kind of thing.
So not fire him, but just pull his hours back.
Yeah. And so Jordan's like, I'll do it. La, la, la. Okay. The job was inside a water waste plant, and he had to like sandblast some weird enclosed smelly ass capsule of some sort. And I'm telling you, Trevin, that the man's skin has been reeking. He even had to wash down with coffee grounds to get the stench off of him.
Is he done with doing this job now?
No, it's almost done. But when he's done, we're going to burn the work clothes. Maybe not burn them, because my God, who knows what'll happen to those. But we're throwing them out. We're destroying them.
Bury them.
We're burying them. But anyway, my husband smells, and I keep telling him, I'm like, you still smell. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you just took 500 baths. I'm sorry you just did the coffee grounds. Like, I want to dump tomato juice all over him. He reeks, and I'm trying to still love him. I know this is how he supports our families. So, like, on one hand, I'm grateful, but on the other hand, I'm like, you smell bad.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. There'd be not a lot of ventilation in that capsule.
No.
Ugh, I would probably be really uncomfortable inside of that as well.
Oh, it's horrible for him. He has to wear a full get-up of safety gear and everything to even work in there. But yeah, it seeps into your skin. It's so gross, guys.
He just like was inside of a skunk's ass.
He was inside a skunk's asshole, and I can smell it, and I hate it. It's like he lingers around. I'm just like, you smell! But you saw him at the wedding. He was working at it before the wedding. That's when he used the coffee grounds beforehand, which took the smell mostly off of him. And he was wearing a nice suit, and I covered him in cologne before that wedding. I was like, you cannot be my date if you smell like this.
You know, I remember him saying something like, I washed in coffee grounds, and I was like, this guy's fucking drunk.
No!
He's just talking about washing himself with coffee grounds. Like, he's a freak.
Oh, he really did, you guys. That was the thing that got most of the smell out. But he's still going back there this week. He's not doing the inside. He's just around it. So it's just like a whiff of it. But I'm triggered. I can't. Okay? So, Trevin.
Yes.
This week, we are going to be doing a round of top 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Top 5.
It feels like a while, and I always love my top 5s. I've actually had mine for a while, but it's actually your week to go first.
Have you?
And I'm excited to finally get to share it with you.
Okay, mine is a newer discovery, but I cannot wait to share mine as well. Today, Trevin, I am going to be sharing with you the most dangerous tightrope walks in the world.
Ugh, they all sound dangerous to me.
Every last one of them is dangerous, you guys. There was a great article on outdoors.com by Alice Hafer, and Alice does a phenomenal job. She talks about other walks that I'm not going to talk about, so obviously check that article out if you want more. And I'm not really going to tell these in order of like the height of them or the length of them or the danger that's beneath them. They all have their own different risks to them. So I'm just going to describe them all. Okay.
Okay. So just the 5.
Just 5 of the craziest tightrope walks of all time. So I'm going to start with number 5. And this tightrope walk was done at the Condado Plaza Hotel in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Ooh.
This was one of the most difficult walks ever attempted, and it was done by Karl Wallenda. I want you guys to remember this name because Karl is actually the great-grandfather of another man who does tightrope walking, So his grandson will be discussed later on in the list.
Really does run in the family, I guess.
Yes. Unfortunately, number 5 is a little bit sad because it doesn't have a happy ending necessarily. This walk occurred in 1978. At age 73, Wallenda attempted a walk between the two towers of the 10-story Condado Plaza Hotel in San Juan on a wire stretch 121 feet above the pavement. As a result of high winds and improperly secured wire, he lost his balance and fell during the attempt and didn't survive.
Oh my gosh. So they didn't have safety net? Did you say that?
So a lot of these didn't exactly clarify. There's a couple on here that will clarify specifically, like they did not have a harness. I think most of these didn't, and this one definitely didn't. They did say that high winds and an improperly secured wire.
And he was 73?
He was 70 freaking 3, Trevin, yes.
Good God.
And it was something that he had done all his life. Like, it's a family that's known for this kind of stuff. For number 4, I'm going to discuss one of his grandson's walks. His grandson is Nik Wallenda, and he walked across the Grand Canyon.
Oh my God.
Here in the United States. So, American daredevil Nik Wallenda was the first person to high wire walk across the Grand Canyon, completing his latest record-breaking feat in under 23 minutes. Nik Wallenda is the grandson of the famous Karl Wallenda, one of the best-known tightrope walkers there ever was. Nik Wallenda was born into a long lineage of circus performers and acrobats. So that's kind of cool. On to number 3. These next 2 will not have anything to do with the Wallenda family, so we'll give you a little break from that family of acrobats. So the next tightrope walk was at Yosemite National Park in 2011. 23-year-old daredevil Mick Commuter walked along 25 meters of rope, less than an inch thick, as part of a terrifying trend known as highlining tightrope walking, at frightening locations around the world. This was rigged 3,000 feet above the ground without a safety harness. So that one definitely clarified, like, he was doing this at Yosemite, no safety harness.
On a skinnier rope.
On a skinnier thing, yes. For number 2, this one happened in Milan, Italy.
Ooh.
48-year-old tightrope walker Andrea Lorini, high above the Italian city of Milan. Lorini, who claims to be one of the only Italian tightrope walkers, broke the record for the country's highest tightrope walk ever with this stunt, traversing 670 feet of rope at a height of 450 feet. He accomplished this feat to open Milan's BAM Circus Cultural Festival and to raise awareness for climate change.
Oh.
So that's nice. Good for you.
Tightrope for a cause.
Exactly. And then the grand finale. This is another walk done by the grandson,
But a different grandson.
Nik Wallenda. No,
the
same one. And
Oh,
this
okay.
one blew my freaking mind. Are you ready for number 1 of tightrope walks, Trevin?
I'm probably not.
So this is at the Masaya volcano in Nicaragua in 2020. Nik Wallenda attempted and succeeded at walking across the active Masaya volcano in Nicaragua, fighting toxic gas and winds affecting his aerodynamics and visibility. Wallenda, in an attempt to continue to challenge himself, completed his task. He traversed an 800-foot wire across the crater, the hot lava bubbling beneath reaching up to 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Due to the hazardous fumes, Wallenda had to wear a gas mask and oxygen tank during his stunt.
Well, that probably makes your balance a little funky too, huh?
I mean, my God, what is going on, guys?
Yeah, like, what more do you have to prove?
I don't know. I mean, it's fascinating. That's the reason I wrote this top 5 out about it, is because I'm fascinated by it. I think others are. That's why they have these live events where they do it. I don't know if it's just, oh, is he going to fall or is he not going to fall? I don't know if it's a sick human nature thing. I don't know.
In my opinion, I feel like if you've seen one, you've seen them all kind of a thing, besides different settings, of course.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't understand the fascination with people wanting to go see it live, because I would feel scarred for life if it didn't go right.
I know. Same.
It did also kind of feel like, being that one dude was such a legend at it, choosing to do it at the age of 73, it almost seemed like he was kind of tempting. He was like,
Yeah.
maybe I will just like lose doing what I love.
Exactly. I'm sure if we were to connect with his spirit, he would say, I went out doing what I loved.
Probably.
But yeah, I just wanted to share, guys, there are lots of people out there doing this shit, not just the Wallenda family, and all over the damn world.
The whole time you were telling me this story, I was just picturing the family the Robin from Batman, where he came from, the Flying Graysons, because they were a trapeze family.
Yes.
Just makes me think of that.
There you go.
Well, that was great, and I would never, ever, ever do a tightrope. I've even seen where people do the little tightrope challenges where you just see them 2 feet off the ground. I'm like, I don't even want to do that.
Have you seen the Office episode where they do
Oh,
that?
yeah.
No. One of the girls is on the rope with high heels on. One of the men keeps falling. I think it is Dwight that keeps falling and like has a bloody nose. It's horrible.
Yeah.
No one should be doing it.
No. This week, I read an article that I found to be very entertaining, and I found a way to also turn it into a top 5. So to set the stage first, I would just like to read you a little bit of this article. I'm coming from Burnama.com, and it's called Hotels Reveal Most Unusual Lost and Found Items. Hotels.com revealed some of the most unusual items left behind at its partner hotels around the world, including a pet lizard, as well as some of the most bizarre room service requests. That's coming later.
Oh my God.
The website's annual Hotel Room Insights report, based on data from more than 400 hotels across the globe, revealed the most common items left behind. But for some of the most unusual items, and I'm not doing this as a top 5, but just for fun, a Rolex watch, another watch worth $6 million, a Hermes Birkin bag,
Woo.
keys and documents for a luxury car,
Oh.
a car tire, an engagement ring, a tooth, 2 full leg casts, a stack of cash, a pet lizard, and a chick.
Oh my God.
Hotels.com said the lizard and chick were safely reunited with their owners.
Thank goodness.
But what I want to give you the top 5 is my personal top 5
Okay.
of these. But the top 5 most unusual room service requests from Hotels.com's 2024 annual Hotel Room Insights report.
Holy shit, ladies and gents.
At number 5, a caviar hot dog. I don't even know. I don't know if
that
that's...
had to be a Real Housewives thing. They're really weird. Like a lot of them like hot dogs and caviar. I don't know if they eat them together, but I could see it.
Did you ever eat at Tasty Thai ever?
I've heard of it. Well, maybe once.
Around the 4th of July, and I don't know if this is normal at other Thai restaurants or not, but around the 4th of July, they did an American pad Thai, and it was a pad Thai with hot dogs in it. And I want to say they did one step further to make it a little more American, but I can't remember what it was. But I applauded it, but I would have never ate it.
No, thank you.
Number 4, 4 pounds of bananas.
4 pounds of nanas?
I don't know why you would ask your hotel room service for that.
Did they do it? Are these all like things they did or maybe not?
These were just documented ones that they got.
Documented requests.
Number 3, customized allergen menu for pet. Number 2, a high five from a team member, parentheses, to ensure the request was read. So, like, if you read all the stuff I want, you also have to give me a high five to prove it.
What?
And then the number 1, and you might want to take notes on this for Jordan,
Okay.
a tub full of Evian brand water for a child's bath.
Oh, hell no.
You think Jordan needs a good Evian bath?
Maybe that's what he really needs, honestly. I don't know. If coffee grounds don't do it, I guess Evian water it is. Wow. These are all really bougie requests.
Very bougie request.
Like, are you kidding me? How many bottles of Evian water would it take to fill a damn tub?
And it just says for child too, so like I don't know if we're talking like a baby in a sink or if we're talking...
Oh no, these bougie asses are not bathing their babies in sinks.
It's my 13-year-old Tristan.
Now, the pounds and pounds of nanas, I just don't know what else you could possibly want that for in a hotel room other than something kind of freaky.
Or you're that lady from that Chimp Crazy documentary and you're just trying to get another ape across state lines or something.
That's true.
I need 4 pounds of nanas quick.
She's like, Nana, stat. I have got a gorilla on the run. Wow, those are some really weird requests.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the ads we're about to recommend are going to be quite that weird. So let's go. And we are back, and it's my week 2 Telepetty Crime first.
I'm excited to hear some crimes. We had that guest appearance.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 back, and I was asked to make sure people know next week will probably be a guest episode. So just so you know.
Oh, okay. People are wanting to have a heads up on this so they can prepare their ears for a different voice.
That or just not to listen at all.
Oh, no! So I'm going to be telling a story from the news, and you guys, not only is this a recent crime, but it is still unsolved.
Oh my God, Amanda's Unsolved Mysteries?
Amanda's Unsolved Mysteries. I need you all to put your detective caps on, your listening ears on, and here we go. Making a wish is a special moment in time where vulnerability and hope meet. Precious and hand-selected words are formed in the mind, then released into the all-knowing universe.
I wish to marry a millionaire under the age of 60.
Only, these heartfelt desires aren't wished at any ordinary moment during the day. They are prompted by signs. Some make their wishes upon spotting a shooting star or a fallen eyelash.
I wish my boss would choke on a chicken wing.
While others wait patiently until the clock strikes 11:11.
I wish my nipples were cuter.
Those that live in a small Midwest village like my hometown may even wish on a semi-truck carrying haystacks.
Bale of hay, make a wish and look away.
Unfortunately, today's story isn't about the bliss that occurs when wishes come true. This is a tale of the devastation caused when priceless wishes are stolen. Although the New England town of Wallingford, Vermont is quaint, it is full of a long and rich history. Founded in 1761, the tight-knit community still remains today, surrounded by mature trees and historical monuments. One of these coveted town landmarks is a statue created in 1898 titled Boy with the Leaking Boot. The statue of the young man is dressed in a matching blue cap and trousers, paired with a red shirt. His stance is confident, although he only has a single boot on one of his feet. His other foot is as bare as the lifeless eyes on his blank facial expression.
Meh.
For humor and purpose, the other boot is lifted up into the air with one of the boy's hands, keeping the other hand in his pant pocket. The lifted boot appears to have a hole in the sole, allowing the attached fountain to funnel water through it, dripping slowly into the surrounding basin. Theories on who the boy was depicted from vary. Some say he was a well-liked newspaper boy who drowned while fishing, and others say he was a drummer boy, bringing water to injured soldiers during battle.
Quit fucking drumming and bring me some water!
Although either version of his creation is tragic, it is also said that this fixture started out as the village's watering trough, where residents gathered round for hydration and the latest town gossip.
Gertrude was showing off her shoulders again.
In more modern times, however, the fountain became more of a wishing well for the locals. People of all ages would walk past the familiar boy and his leaking boot. Occasionally, people would stop to quietly confess their biggest dreams and toss a coin into the boot's fountain water. Over countless years, children wish for toys.
I wish I had a yo-yo.
Parents wish for vacations.
I wish for an all-paid, all-inclusive, all-enjoyable trip.
And the town elders wished for important town improvements.
I wish the bingo prizes at the senior center were less shitty.
Each thoughtful aspiration was paired with a payment of whatever loose change was in the wisher's pocket that day. The boy in the boot stood above the people in his town, bringing those with pure intentions good luck. Well-behaved children would eventually be gifted the toy of their dreams.
A yo-yo!
Parents that worked hard would book their dream vacations.
Bahama mamas, here I come.
And the cranky elders were ultimately satisfied
Bingo!
with their bingo prizes.
I'll take the crystal cat figurine, thank you.
It couldn't be proven, and not everyone was a believer. But those with granted desires knew deep down it was their beloved boy with his leaking boot who answered all of their wishes. However, no one could have predicted that on a warm summer evening in 2024, a petty criminal threatened the entire town's good fortune. It is unclear what exactly happened that dreadful night. Some say it was a maniac with a weapon. Others thought it was an angry man or bear. And a few claimed it was an act of a demonic spirit. No matter the culprit, the result was the same. The boy and the boot statue had been badly vandalized. The next morning, the townspeople gathered around to examine the damage done to their favorite fountain. The platform in which the boy stood was completely tossed upside down and out of the water basin. There were 3 large breaks on the statue, 2 at the boy's ankles and 1 on his thigh. Water sprayed chaotically, creating mud to form underneath the broken structure. Children and their parents wept as authorities took photographs and gathered up the statue pieces. Shortly after the discovery of the vandalism, the winds grew colder throughout the grieving town. A storm rolled in, causing children's yo-yos to snap. Vacations were canceled due to severe weather, and bingo nights at the senior center were postponed. Skeptical residents blamed the storm, but true believers knew it had everything to do with the boy and the leaking boot.
I wish none of this ever happened.
Sometime during the evening of August 27th or the early morning of August 28th, 2024, a treasured statue in the town of Wallingford, Vermont, was vandalized. According to town clerk Julie Sharon, the Wallingford statue has been in town since 1898 and was installed to be a part of the village watering trough. It was dedicated to the former innkeeper of the old Wallingford Hotel, where the fountain sat. Only now, the 126-year-old statue has been removed from the water basin after it was broken in multiple pieces. Apparently, this wasn't the first time the statue had been vandalized. The boy was knocked off his pedestal years back, but the damage this time appeared to be much more extensive. Select Board Chair Kathy Luzader was quoted saying, "We definitely will look into what we can do to restore the statue because it means so much to the town. It has a strong sentimental value, and we're very saddened by this, very shocked. We're going to do whatever we can to rectify the situation." Long-term Wallingford resident Tanya Adi-Perrin also spoke to media, stating,
They need to know that what they did was unbelievably disrespectful, and it affected a whole community. You know, me as a little girl remembers going up and throwing a penny into the boy in the boot. We care about our town. We care about the little things, so I would hope that they would apologize and be held accountable for it.
Authorities explain that the statue is relatively heavy and was bolted to its platform. It would have taken some effort to knock it over. They are also asking for assistance in finding those responsible, as there are currently no leads. Local authorities are asking anyone who might have video or photos of the area, or anyone who noticed anything unusual, to contact the Rutland County Sheriff's Department at 802-775-8002. Although this story has yet to receive its fairy tale ending, I hope you still believe in wishes. Whether you make a wish while blowing out your birthday candles, or after tossing a coin into a fountain, I hope all of your dreams come true, regardless of how corny I sound. But to the petty criminals out there that destroyed the boy in the boot statue, your luck will eventually run out. After all, there is no wishing well when you're locked up in jail.
And whichever listener you are who's going to help us crack this case, when you make that call, you tell them Live, Laugh, Larceny sent you.
You better. My God. Okay, first of all, if anyone lives in that area, anyone at all, please send us a message. But this is a pretty small town. The chances of that occurring are pretty slim. I looked up the most recent population. I think it was a little over 2,000.
Mm-hmm. What year was it again?
It was this year, August. This is recent, like just a month ago. And they're asking for any leads. And hey, I know it's a petty crime. I know this isn't like asking for leads in a murder investigation or something. But hey, it's the boy in the boot.
And that boy stood up for a lot of people for a long time.
Yes. And really, the only thing I made up was the silly wishes people made and the storm coming in and everything getting damaged. Like, I just wanted to create more of an ominous effect with that, obviously. But everything I said about the history, the description, what happened, all the quotes are from the townsfolk that are very upset about this.
The way you wrote it was sort of a documentary style.
Oh.
Because you were like telling the history of the boy in the boot, and you had your funny little wishes on the side, your little testimonial wishes. You explained what happened, but you didn't give a character to anybody.
I know. Isn't that random?
Like a documentary.
Yeah, it kind of was. I have been watching documentary type things a lot, so that might be where my head is. But I didn't feel the need to create a character at all other than the boy in the boot himself and just have those repetitive like side characters.
I mean, there were no specific characters since nobody's been caught yet.
Yeah.
But once you get them caught...
Once we get them caught, we better be included in that article. That's all I can say.
We'll do the sequel that gives you all his perspective when we get his ass caught.
Oh, shit. I do want to say one other thing about the boy in the boot. Because I had to do a lot of historical digging and things like this.
Do you have a picture?
Yes, I do. I can show it to you before it was damaged and after.
Oh, good.
You can look into his lifeless eyes yourself. I love the boy in the boot, but his face is kind of iffy.
Oh, yeah, you were talking shit on his face.
His face is iffy. I did want to say there are other versions of this statue in various places across the world, according to the Wikipedia on this statue.
Oh.
There are at least 24 to hundreds of other depictions of the boy in the boot found just here in the U.S.
So many boys in boots.
Yes. So there's a boy with the leaking boot statue in Fresno, California for over 64 years. There's one in Winnipeg, Canada. There's one in Menominee, Michigan. There's one in Sandusky, Ohio. And then it also says Ellenville, New York is the only city to have 2 copies of the boy in the boot. Ohio once had 2, but one died in the impact of a car crash in Wellsville. And Seattle used to have one, but it was later stolen.
Damn.
I just thought all of that was very fascinating. I considered trying to put that into the story as well, but I just was like, nah, I'm just going to share that at the end. That's just too much. But yeah, I guess it's like a common statue that's around other places. So if you live next to any of the boys in boots, take a picture.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're very old, so it goes without saying, but they really have a history, like when you say all the different things that have happened to them.
Yes.
Oh, and one thing we talked about we had a moment in between lines, the bale of hay thing.
Yes.
I didn't know that was a real thing.
So you've never heard that in your entire life, being a Midwestern boy?
That doesn't sound familiar to me at all. I mean, I lived on a land with bales of hay,
Yeah.
so I don't think I would survive turning away from every bale of hay I see driving past.
That's a good point. I didn't see them super often, although I lived in a country village. It was something we only did if you saw them being pulled on a semi on the road.
Oh.
And it was always like, bale of hay, make a wish and look away. That's the thing my family did. Guys, if you know of anyone or if you do this, please confirm to Trevin. I'm not totally crazy. I hope there's at least one other person.
Yeah, and tell us what weird wishy sayings you know, because it's making me think there's probably a lot of interesting ones.
Oh my God. I guarantee there are. Do you think we'll have anything in common with our stories off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Okay.
I wrote this story a couple weeks ago in preparation for stuff, so it's not fresh on my mind.
Yeah.
But from all the main things, I can't think of anything.
Okay. All right, I'll be listening.
So this week, my story is from the news, and I guess we already have our connection because mine is also from August of 2024.
Well, there you go.
But we always like our story connection, so let's see what else we can do. But if not, it's some pun about August Rush or something as the title. You know how I do. We're definitely getting petty today. This is a good petty story. So we'll just see if all the ladies in the crowd can relate to this one. There we go. And here we go. No matter who you vote for, what you do, or who you kiss when the lights go out, we all have one thing in common. At one time or another, we have all been a customer. In this day and age, it's nearly impossible to avoid. I can't imagine anyone listening to this show who hasn't been, or isn't currently, a customer. Although we tell plenty of stories where customers face hardships at the hands of service workers, we proudly take a pro-service worker stance on our show. Our empathy for their daily grind makes it almost impossible not to give them the benefit of the doubt. But even with that understanding, we can't deny that there are also times when a poor, helpless customer is on the receiving end of some truly bad service. We've all been there. A group of teens refusing to acknowledge you at the counter, a judgy hotel cleaner shaming you for having toe fungus, or a condescending sandwich artist sneering.
That's 1 6-inch for the pumpernickel bitch.
Sometimes it's not just about being sensitive or overly communicative with your complaints. We have a legitimate problem. And when that happens, what do you do? Do you let it slide like I sometimes do, convincing yourself this is just karma catching up to you?
I'm sure I deserve this.
Or do you fire off 1-star reviews, making sure everyone knows you've got a bark as vicious as your bite?
I'm never shopping here again!
Or maybe you just take a step further and go for a little petty revenge. Today, we're going to treat ourselves to a luxury shopping trip where the name brands are coveted and every shopper feels like a star. Picture yourself strolling through glossy aisles, indulging in the finer things, and soaking up the high-end experience. This is your moment to feel like Kim K, if only for a while. But as we're about to find out, sometimes the price tag doesn't just refer to what you're buying. It might just come with a different kind of cost. Amber M. was a pretty woman living in Chongqing, southwestern China. She had a natural elegance that always shined through, despite her simple choice of attire. Her love for fashion was undeniable. She had a keen eye for style and a deep appreciation for high-end brands. However, her mind for fashion did not translate to her investments. Her purchase of a hot dog cart was a financial flop, a bitter reminder that she would be doomed to have Versace taste with Walmart pockets. But despite her setbacks, Amber diligently saved 10% of every wiener sale, each dollar a small step closer to the luxury purse of her dreams. It was her one bling to rule them all, reserved exclusively for those special occasions when she needed to flaunt a bit.
Oh, this old thing?
And now, after all her sacrifices, she was about to claim the ultimate prize. Feeling the warm glow of Starlight Place Shopping Centre, Amber kept her face pressed against the Uber's window. It was beautiful. Chanel, Prada, Burberry, Gucci. Everywhere she looked, the logos and name brands that had only existed on her phone were now shining brightly in front of her, bathed in all their prestigious glory. She had never felt imposter syndrome quite like this before. Sure, she had managed to save up a 6-figure sum, an impressive feat achieved by slinging hot dogs.
Get your wieners here!
But she couldn't shake the feeling that she didn't belong. It had taken everything she had to remind herself that she had earned this. That no matter what your financial background is, if you can afford at least one item in a store, every customer gets complimentary drinks like a West Hollywood housewife when they step through the door. She saved the money, and today was the day to reap her reward. With her clearance handbag held tightly in her bosom, Amber waited for her driver to pull up to the curb, letting her out. He gave her a flirty, "Go get him, Tiger," before winking and rolling up his window, proceeding on to transport another wandering soul. With fate deciding, Amber chose the shop nearest to where she was dropped off, Louis Vuitton. She had planned to treat her shopping trip like dating, saving the luxurious leathers for later, both the handbags and the intimate varieties. But the convenience of Louis Vuitton being just a short step away felt too tempting to ignore. As Amber approached the palace-like doors of Louis Vuitton, a doorman in a tuxedo held the door open for her. "Good day, madam," he said with a flourish, tipping his top hat and bowing in respect.
I could get used to this.
Amber murmured to herself, taking in the familiar walls she had only seen in photographs. But as soon as she stepped into the opulent establishment, leaving behind the courteous doorman, Amber found herself at the mercy of two decidedly less charming sales associates. The luxurious aroma of leather and polished floors surrounded her, but the air was thick with something silent but deadly. Judgment. The two employees, dressed impeccably in black, glanced up with synchronized disinterest, their eyes panning from her clearance bag-clad arm to her scuffed flats. It wasn't just the weight of their gaze, it was the way they turned away, as if she wasn't even worth acknowledging. Despite the frigid reception and the marble floors daring her to retreat, Amber began her shopping. Reaching for the first item that caught her eye, a darling mink pube clutch, her hand was abruptly interrupted by a very aggressive shoulder.
"May I help you?"
The associate before her asked, stepping over to watch Amber closely.
I'm just checking things out.
Amber said, reaching again.
How much is this?
The woman straightened her back and raised an eyebrow.
"I don't think this would fit you,"
she said, with a thinly veiled smirk. Amber looked at the item again, reminding herself they were talking about a purse. The associate sighed, rolling her eyes as she called out without any particular direction.
"How much is this, Marie?"
It's very expensive,
came the flat reply from behind the counter. The rude sales associate slowly panned her gaze back to Amber.
"It's very expensive."
I get it.
Amber cut her off.
Look, I have money to spend. I'm looking for a big ticket item. Can you at least bring me a bottle of water and talk to me about upcoming trends while I live out my movie montage fantasy?
"No."
The associate nearest her replied curtly, as the other one stepped out from behind the counter. With a wave of her hand, she signaled Amber to follow. After a few steps around the main display, the seemingly more helpful associate raised her right arm, as if to present something.
This is the section you're looking for, ma'am. Let me know if you need anything.
The woman returned to her spot behind the counter, where she leaned over and started whispering to her colleague. Amber inspected the section she was brought to, a dimly lit corner, overrun with shrubbery and graffiti. A cold breeze blew past, causing a tumbleweed to roll by, revealing a sign, "Last Season's Styles." Barely able to hold down her lunch, Amber covered her mouth with her elbow and bolted for the door. She threw it open, bumping into the dapper doorman's cute little butt, and kept running until she was far away from the store. She felt blindsided. Here she was, walking into a dream store, nervous but excited to treat herself, only to be judged for not looking like she belonged. The joy of the milestone was completely stripped away. Cutting her losses, she grabbed some froyo and hailed an Uber. For the next 2 months, Amber's bruised pride made life uncomfortable. The trauma from the bougie buttholes kept her from trying another store, and even when online shopping, the sight of a luxury brand logo would teleport her right back to that fateful day. During Amber's period of contempt, a plan began to take shape. Sadness boiled into anger, demanding satisfaction. Her calls to the Louis V customer service line went unanswered, and even searching the phone book for Vuitton proved futile. But Amber wasn't one to give up easily. She had been ready to spend a fortune on a purse, but now, it wasn't just about the bag. This time, it was the sales associates of Louis V who were going to pay. With her new plan in motion, Amber once again felt the warm glow of Starlight Place. But this time, she was accompanied by her newly hired bodyguard, her hotdog assistant, and a purse full of vengeance. A big surprise that would teach those smug sales associates the importance of good customer service. With the nameless bodyguard pulling into the nearest parking spot, the trio of luxury brand hopefuls stepped out, exuding an air of belonging. The two supporting members donned high-priced pantsuits and sunglasses, while Amber stole the show in an elegant white dress and an oversized hat that screamed, "I'm important and I know it." Carrying a collection of designer shopping bags, the three ignored the fancy doorman and entered Louis Vuitton, looking every bit the high-end shoppers. But beneath the polished exterior, they were on a mission, one that wasn't about buying anything on display. They were there for payback.
"How may I help you, ma'am?"
The original associate asked, eagerly rushing to Amber's side.
You must be parched.
Marie, the woman from behind the counter, chimed in, appearing with a tray. She extended it toward them, offering 3 glasses of ice and a large pitcher of sparkling water with lemon. Amber lapped up that water like a Great Dane at a child's swimming pool. The nerve-wracking mission had worked up a thirst in her, and she'd been craving that Louis V water for 2 months. She needed to wet her whistle with the lemony taste of privilege. Realizing how desperate she must have appeared gulping down the water, Amber casually set the glass back down, trying to play it off as if she hadn't just grabbed it like she'd been stranded on a desert for days.
I'm actually in the market for a fine mink pube clutch. Something that will really elevate my outfit for dinner with the president of money tonight.
Amber announced nonchalantly, waiting to see which of the clout-chasing sales associates would jump at the opportunity first.
I've got just the one.
The associate with the deeper voice replied, striding confidently toward the very same purse from months earlier. Without hesitation, the worker lifted the crotch fur clutch and placed it into Amber's hands. She had never felt something so soft and expensive in her life, and the best part was, she now felt worthy of touching it. Pushing aside her imposter syndrome, Amber straightened her posture, slipping back into her stern character.
This will do. Ring it up.
She ordered.
I really am in quite a hurry.
Amber watched as the associate took the clutch directly to Marie behind the counter. There were no subtle eye rolls or judgment looks this time, just efficiency and an impeccable customer experience. Marie typed away at the register, ringing up the clutch and asking the typical checkout questions.
Your total is $110,000. Will this be debit or credit? Or would you like to sign up for our Louis Vuitton Black Card? It actually has the opposite of interest. We pay you for being rich because privilege.
Amber savored the luxury sales pitch while glancing down at the purse she had entered with. She recalled her premeditated plan and realized that getting even was going to be even sweeter than she had imagined. Dropping her heavy purse onto the counter, she popped open its designer clasp while answering Marie's question.
Cash.
As a mound of crumpled, haphazardly stuffed dollar bills began to spill out of the purse, the other sales associate tested just how fast her Pradas could carry her. The two gathered around the loot, surprised that a bag of money could ruin their day. The floor associate snapped her head up, locking eyes with Amber, before quickly composing herself and remembering proper client etiquette.
This may take us a minute, miss. Feel free to make yourself comfortable in our lounge area,
the irritated woman said, managing to maintain a cheerful tone. Amber took a seat on the undoubtedly designer couch. Though she maintained the demeanor of a stone-cold bitch, inside, her body was dancing with glee. She reveled in her date with retribution, knowing that all the awkward bank encounters to get the cash were worth it, as she watched the employees struggle with her inconveniently delivered revenge. Each time she heard a count restart, or a cash pile topple over,
Oh shit.
Amber smirked a petty smirk of justice. The cash counting went on for 2 hours, each second bringing Amber to the edge of climax.
109,999. 110,000.
One associate finally announced, proud to have reached the end. Amber uncrossed her legs, stood up, and slowly walked back to the counter. She looked down at the neatly stacked cash, meticulously counted, a task she had watched with sheer delight.
I've changed my mind.
She said, scooping the cash up with her arms and stuffing it back into her purse. The two associates looked on in horror as all the hard work vanished in an instant. Amber smiled, shutting her purse with a snap before asking one final question.
You work on commission, right?
Yes.
The original employee stammered. Lifting her heavy purse with an exaggerated shrug, Amber responded.
Big mistake. Big, huge.
Turning on her heel, she signaled her posse to follow, tossing one last farewell over her shoulder.
I have to go shopping now.
With that, she strutted out of Louis Vuitton, leaving the stunned employees in her wake. In August of 2024, an unnamed woman in Chongqing, southwestern China, made employees at a Louis Vuitton outlet count 600,000 yuan, roughly 110,000 American dollars, in cash before changing her mind and leaving empty-handed. This act was later revealed as part of a revenge plot over previous poor service. According to the woman's confession on social media, she felt mistreated in several ways. The staff ignored her request for a drink, directed her to outdated items instead of the latest collections, and rolled their eyes with visible impatience whenever she asked to see some dresses. To make matters worse, her attempts to lodge a complaint with Louis Vuitton's headquarters were completely ignored. Hong Kong news outlet South China Morning Post reported that the woman held a grudge for 2 months before executing her revenge plot. Accompanied by her personal assistant and a friend, she returned to Louis Vuitton with a bag of cash, pretending to buy clothes. After the staff spent 2 hours counting the money, she told them she had changed her mind, leaving with the cash. On Chinese social media, Xiao Hongshu, the woman explained,
After they finished counting it, I just took away my money and left. How is it possible for me to buy their products to improve their work performance?
no legal consequences followed the incident, as the woman's actions were not deemed illegal. While her behavior may be seen as a petty act of revenge, it received a surprisingly positive response from many locals. One resident told the South China Morning Post, "This ending is so delightful. I have always wondered why these shop assistants are so arrogant." If you ever find yourself frustrated by poor customer service, remember you're not alone. Bad experiences are something everyone faces. And if you do choose to exact a bit of petty revenge, make sure to stay on the right side of the law. There's a certain thrill in being cleverly defiant while remaining legally savvy. Whether you're navigating a frustrating warranty claim with a tech company, dealing with asshole teens at a fast food restaurant, or channeling your inner Julia Roberts on Rodeo Drive, don't let a single bad shopping trip transform you into a petty woman.
I love me a good petty woman.
Me too. I work with one.
Ah, that's me. I accept that title. First of all, before we jump into your story, we do have a connection with small amounts of money like $1 bills or whatever the Chinese...
Oh, the yuan?
The yuan.
I'm probably saying
and
that wrong.
Small coins that I had in the fountain. And we both talked about saving money. Your character saved and saved to get the luxury. And mine, the parents were saving to go on vacation. But we did talk a lot about money in both and like small forms of money.
Yes, okay, yeah.
So that was interesting. But did she really say the quote or did you just throw that in for dramatic effect?
She did not really quote Pretty Woman.
Okay. I figured because the way you said it was not in the recap or anything.
When I realized that Pretty Woman is just one letter away from Petty Woman, and the situation is obviously just like Pretty Woman,
Yes.
I said, I have to do this, but while still keeping as much of the true stuff as I could.
Do you know exactly how the story of it even did come out? Did she post about it on her social media afterwards talking
think she
about
went
it or
viral.
something? Okay, yeah. Well, good for her, first of all. Second of all, that's a really good, humbling way. Hopefully, maybe the sales associates won't do this, but it is a good, petty, yet humbling way to make someone realize you shouldn't judge a book by their cover.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the ultimate thing, right? I mean, I have only been in one luxury store type situation ever in my life.
I knew you could relate a little bit. And
I could.
I could not.
And guys, don't get it twisted. I was not in there for me. I was with my sister-in-law. But we went into a Cartier store and I just felt so out of place. I felt like I wasn't dressed right. My shoes weren't right. When you talk about the scuffed up flats, oh God, I was like, this is me. Except for I wasn't trying to fool anyone. Like I was just there tagging along for the experience. But they do give you water. They gave us chocolates. They even gave me little sample perfumes because she ended up buying a bracelet. But yeah, anyway, long story short, I could totally picture myself. And even when she was buying something, there was still like this, I don't know, this air about the sales associate, like, we're better than people. I don't know. It was just so relatable.
It's like you earned this experience for stepping into my door.
Yes. And they don't open the door to just anybody either.
Yeah, don't you have to have an appointment?
Most of them, you had to have an appointment. This one, she was waiting outside, and sometimes there was like little velvet ropes covering the doors, like you couldn't go in. This one didn't have anything. It didn't even have a sign that said appointment only or anything. And she went in there. They saw that she had some other pieces, I assume, and was just like, come on in. You can bring this little Raggedy Ann with you. I don't know, but she went in there and got one. So
Wow.
alone on my own, I would have never felt confident enough. But that's kind of a crying shame because, like you said, what if somebody who is just a normie, right? Or even below the high class status, you know, what if they come into some money or what if they really do save and work hard to get a nice piece?
Yeah, and it's so sad. And just to be clear, I made that part up. I don't know if she
Yeah.
saved money. She could have been just as bougie as them and just for some reason was disrespected.
Right.
I just find it harder to relate to those people.
Yes.
But at the same time, she did feel very judged.
If you got the money, you got the money, man. I mean, everyone should be treated with respect, but that's just not the case.
Yeah, and my imagination of these people, and kind of like how you said they let you guys in, and it's like, oh, did they notice that she was already wearing a nice piece or something? I imagine that they almost do have like a sixth sense of just like Terminator
yeah.
vision, like, boop, 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 boop. It's like, what's that on your wrist?
They
okay,
do.
you can come in.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that.
If I went up there and I asked to go in, they would not let me in. I know. I know they wouldn't have. I could feel it. So you did actually a very fabulous job depicting it, even though you haven't been in one.
Thank you. I was feeling pretty fabulous when I wrote it. The story was just so good. I love a good petty story, and I guess I had done like the Amazon diaper one not too long ago where it wasn't really a crime.
Yeah.
But there's just something about it, like I said, staying legally savvy.
No, that really is a beautiful thing.
And to just, I can't imagine what that must have felt like to have sat there for 2 hours, just enjoyed the whole moment. Because I have this thing that when I do something and I feel confident,
Yeah.
I feel like I walk like a baby giraffe or something afterwards. Because like if I try to like walk away from something like your story, like walk away from explosion, feeling
Yeah.
cool. If I drop a huge bomb on somebody and I'm just like, mic drop, and then I turn around to walk away, I'm like, oh God, they're probably watching my back. I feel like I should look cool here, and then I don't know how to walk anymore.
And then you bumble down the hill?
Yeah, pretty much. So I wonder how that would have felt for her, and if she felt that nervousness of just like, these two people are staring daggers into my back as I walk out. But some people just aren't demure like me.
No, this was definitely a brat girly. I bet it felt good walking away. I bet it did. She's like, bye, bitch.
I bet you would do something like this. Maybe not for 2 hours. I think you'd cringe too long for that.
Honestly, why don't they have one of those cash counting machines? I mean, maybe that's not everywhere, but maybe not everyone would pay with cash, but you'd think you would have it at a luxury place. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't really know if they were crumpled up and stuff. Maybe they weren't able to do that. But to your point, most of their stuff's so expensive that if you are accepting cash, you would be having bank amounts of cash counting.
Yes. Wow. Well, that was such a good one. Just like back to the petty ass core of what we stand for. No charges. That's another thing both of our crimes have in common.
And very overdramatic. Not that we aren't always.
Yeah.
But we kind of worked with smaller instances for these two.
Yes. And neither had charges because, I mean, yours wasn't a crime. Mine, they didn't find the people. So that's kind of odd. We always have some sort of a charge.
Well, at least we got one criminal to make fun of at least.
Yeah, but that is just a really weird connection. Anyway, I hope that everyone out there is just having the best week. And remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to look at a bare wrist.
Bye.
See ya.
I wish for all of you to come on over to Patreon and sign up for our bonus content and ad-free episodes. Please.
If you have any goofy wish sayings that you were taught as a kid, please share them with us on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads. Live, laugh, larceny.
And do you have your very own petty woman moment? If so, send us your story. livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And I'm going to make a wish upon 5 stars, the ones that you're about to leave us. Give us 5 stars wherever you rate podcasts. Vote illegally, vote multiple times. Apple, Spotify, Good Pods, anywhere else that'll take good words.
Making
my way downtown.
I just didn't like how it sounded. Is that weird?
No, not at all.
Make it.
I mean, if it starts wrong, it's going to finish wrong, you know?
Yes, Trevin. Okay. What the fuck is wrong with my voice?
I keep thinking you're going to start singing that song.
Making my way downtown.
Yes.
But now I'm going like Porky Pig. What the fuck?